Hello there guys, it's Joey and welcome back to I Can't Witch Without, the series which in each week, hopefully, we take a look at a different element, a different aspect from my particular witchy path and talk about the meanings as given in a few places of resource, which changes depending on whether or not we're looking at a crystal, a herb, a flower, a resin, and so on and so forth. And just the disclaimer at the start of the video, as always, you do not require any or all of the items in order to be a witch. It's just the title of the series to take a deeper, more personal look at particular elements from my witchcraft path. And we have a look at the resources, and for crystals we go with the Book of Stones and the Crystal Bible. And for this week's crystal, which is Aqua Aura Quartz, and we've got some different variations of Aqua Aura Quartz and Shock, which we will discuss. We're also going to have a look at the second book of crystal spells, because they had a really nice segment on Aqua Aura Quartz. And it's that, along with a few other promptings of synchronicities, if you like, from the universe that have caused me to go back and work with Aqua Aura Quartz, because as it turns out, I've collected a few pieces here and there and not really sat and paid enough attention to it. I felt drawn to it and then moved away from it, and felt drawn to it and then moved away from it, and it's got to the point now where it's come hammering on the door, to the point where it's time to work with it and it's time to embrace the lessons and the gifts that Aqua Aura Quartz presents. So before we talk about the meanings from the books and then go on to discuss my feelings about the crystals, I am going to mention right up front that technically speaking, Aqua Aura Quartz is not a natural crystal. There is a bonding process created in a man-made environment. However, the crystal books allow Aqua Aura in as having an energy because the elements that are bonded are natural elements, and we will talk about those elements because there are, as I said, different variations of the Aqua Aura Quartz in Shot. And we're going to actually start with the Crystal Bible because it's a little bit more simplistic in its representation, and it also tells us the different elements which are bonded, coated onto the quartz, and that's what happens. It's quartz crystals artificially bonded with gold, producing intense colour, small points or clusters. So, despite being artificially created, Aqua Aura has an intense energy, reflecting the alchemy. Oh goodness. Alchemical. Oh my god, my brain's not working, can you tell? The alchemic process that bonds gold onto pure quartz. You have to forgive me, I've had a bit of a headache for the last couple of days. Aqua Aura frees you from limitations and creates space for something new. This crystal heals, cleanses and calms the aura, releasing any stresses and healing any holes or tears in the aura. It then activates the chakras, especially at the throat level, where it encourages communication from the heart. Aqua Aura releases negative from the subtle energetic bodies and from the connections the spiritual body makes to universal energies. The expression of soul energy is then activated, fulfilling your highest potential. Aqua Aura stimulates channeling and self-expression and deepens spiritual attunement and communication. It is a protective stone that safeguards against psychic or psychological attack. It bestows calm and profound peace during meditation. Enhances the healing properties of other crystals. And then it talks here about specific aura quartzes. So rainbow aura is formed through the bonding of gold and titanium onto pure quartz. And I believe it's what the darker one is, though they called it a flame aura quartz, flame aura rainbow quartz. It's also what the central sphere is. I'm going to get in a bit closer and I'll just tell you quickly what the additional properties of the rainbow aura is for. Activates the centres of the body, clears the path for life force to manifest through various bodies, vibrant energy, renewing zest for life. Beneficial for dysfunctional relationships as it shows projections and helps release negative emotions such as resentments or old griefs from the past. Bringing deep insight into relationships at all levels, it aids in releasing karmic ties. The transforming of the new relationship is vital and harmonious. So let's have a look at the center one because she's so freaking gorgeous. Slightly out then. Can we get in? No. Come on. Isn't she beautiful? I absolutely adore this beauty right here. Now, technically, she is a Saharan Rainbow Titanium Aura Druzy Quartz, which is quite a mouthful. I've been very drawn to Druzy and Aura Quartz lately, and the illumination of truths and the flashes of insight and the opening up of the true path has definitely come through with these particular aura quartz, and this larger one here is also one of the more titanium heavy aura quartzes. And then the other ones that we have, the lighter blue are the aura quartz, Aqua Aura Quartz, and the two goldeny ones that are here and here are Sunshine Aura, formed with gold and platinum. Its energies are powerful, extremely active. It activates and cleanses the solar plexus in particular, releasing old emotional trauma and that's my brain going, no, why are we doing this? My brain isn't working. I have no idea, because I needed to do it, because I'm so far behind in the videos I said I will do. It releases old emotional traumas and hurts, expansive, protective, and helps relieve toxins. Some of these lighter ones might actually, no, they still have a blue. So look, they're really beautiful tumbled form as well. Actually, it's really interesting. And then this one is more of a titanium. You see how it's darker than say this. It's more solid as well in its colour form. So let's zoom out a bit so you can see all of them, and you can see the nice range of colour that you can get as well. We have, you know, the cluster here. We have the sphere. We have the points and the tumbles and the cluster here. So it's really such a beautiful crystal. So we're going to actually read now from the Book of Stones. Now the Book of Stones tends to avoid man-made crystals, and Aqua Aura is one of the exceptions. From the perspective of this book, there are only a few colour-enhanced stones we feel are energetically active, unique and useful. In general, our position is that stones which are dyed, stained or coated to make them attractive are no better, and sometimes worse, than their unadorned form. One of the exceptions to the rule is the Aqua Aura Quartz. Another is its cousin, Angel Aura Quartz. The stone is produced when clear quartz clusters or points go through a special treatment process in which their surfaces are bonded with vaporized or finely powdered pure gold. The resulting crystals exhibit vivid blue surfaces with subtle flash of iridescent rainbow colours, and so forth. Keywords given here are calm, relaxing, connection with spiritual realms, enhanced communication, psychic protection, element of water, as well as bonded with the chakras of the throat and the third eye. Robert Simmons gives the following analysis of Aqua Aura Quartz. Sharing many characteristics with aquamarine, it is highly stimulating to the throat chakra, enhancing one's ability to communicate inner truth, and has a calming and relaxing effect on the emotional body. Aqua Aura Quartz can be used to soothe anger, cool feverishness, and release stress. It is strongly connected to the element of water and therefore is a stone for enhancing one's access to the truth of the emotions and the portals of spirit which are accessed through the emotions. Aqua Aura Quartz can assist in one's plumbing one's emotional depths and heights while retaining inner peace. Sorry, I just had this image of like dealing with your emotional plumbing. Turning the valves on and off. It's probably closer than we like to admit. It can also be an aid to those who wish to become conscious who wish to become conscious channels for spiritual wisdom, clearing the paths of interdimensional communication. Aqua Aura Quartz has a high and intense vibration. It has been used to activate the energy of all other minerals for healing work and can be a potent stone when used in body layouts for the activation of all chakras. It can be successfully applied to smooth and heal the auric field and release negativity from one's emotional, psychic, physical, etheric, and astral bodies. Wearing Aqua Aura Quartz can help one shine through with one's inner beauty to attract wealth and success, to bring forth historic wisdom, to relieve depression and anxiety, and to stop the dogs barking over there because that is really quite annoying. I'm sorry if you can hear that on camera, you might not be able to. Sorry about that, guys. I've shut the window and hopefully that's blocked most of that noise. That was really quite irritating. Right, okay. Aqua Aura Quartz is used to relieve depression and anxiety and to assist in creating an aura of peace and well-being in oneself and one's surroundings. If it could keep my surroundings nice and calm, that would be lovely. Less barking, that would be great. It is a stone of spiritual elevation which can raise the vibration of humanity as we enter the next phase of evolution. And then the next quote is actually from Hazel Raven, which is somebody different than usually talks about the second half, so that's interesting. Aqua Aura Quartz is the fusion of nature and science. Atoms of pure gold are pyroelectrically bonded with top-grade quartz in a high temperature, near vacuum condition. The bonding process commingles the two substances in a permanent way, which results in the dazzling blue colour. Aqua Aura works initially on the throat chakra, gently cleansing all imbalances which have blocked the flow of heartfelt communication and the ability to express emotions in a constructive, positive manner. It reduces stress hotspots in the body, bringing calm to the aura. Minimizing one's emotional stress is a good preventative measure, as too much stress can weaken the immune system. This alchemic crystal strengthens and supports the thymus gland, which sustains the immune system, so it's an excellent gem essence stone. Aqua Aura provides solus, sorry, that's because there's Solus in Dragon Age and me and my sister have been talking about Solus for 3-4 days straight. Solace. Dragon Age fans will understand that and be like, oh, I understand that reference. Everybody else will be like, what are you talking about? Go check out Solus. He's a very bald elf. Anyway, Aqua Aura provides solace for the spirit and well-being for the body, as it swiftly releases chaotic energy patterns. Aqua Aura will safeguard the wearer from psychic or psychological attack. Any unwanted intrusion will quickly dissipate by transmutation into an immaculate, pure, loving energy that can then be used safely. Spiritual. Aqua Aura stimulates one's connections with a higher vibrational realm, facilitating channels and all types of interdimensional communication. And then the affirmation: my auric field is filled with peace and well-being. I am protected from harm and attuned to the vibrations of higher worlds. Okay, and then last but not least, we're just going to read a little bit from Ember Grants' second book of crystal spells. Perhaps like me you avoid any stones that are artificial. I resisted Aqua Aura Quartz for many years because this stone is not found naturally. However, after acquiring one I changed my mind. If you see one in person you'll be impressed. The colour is striking, a very intense bright blue that is almost otherworldly, which is why I never wanted one. That colour is unnatural. But these quartz points are not artificially dyed, rather they are enhanced with a vapour of real gold that is applied at a very high temperature, coating the crystal and bonding with its surface. So while the process takes place in a lab, the product is still natural and contains no artificial dye. This crystal really is the total package. Since it also possesses the properties of gold, the energy is unique and powerful. First, Aqua Aura can be used to cleanse the aura and can activate all chakras, especially throat, third eye and crown. Additionally, since this stone contains the qualities of gold, it symbolizes purity, nobility, and said to draw knowledge, beauty, success, wealth and honor into one's life, and it eases responsibility. A master healer, according to Melody, it can release negativity from one's emotional, physical, intellectual and spiritual bodies. To top it all off, Aqua Aura can help one attune to nature. And then she says, phew, that's amazing. I'm so glad I gave in and bought some of these crystals. And I really wanted just to add that because I thought her little personal discussion there is a good place to start off talking about Aqua Aura. Because it's a similar feeling to what I had, that I've been reluctant to work with Aqua Aura Quartz, and that is one of the reasons initially I was a little bit hesitant to work with it. When you first start finding out that certain crystals are dyed, it really has a sort of a foul taste, because when you begin you don't realise that these certain things go on, and then there's always inevitably a point where somebody informs you that actually that crystal is man-made, and it kind of puts a sour turn on the idea of man-made crystals. These aren't dyed, however, they are bonded through a form of alchemy, if you like, where gold and titanium and so forth are bonded onto quartz. And the result is these incredibly beautiful crystals. So on the one hand, there will inevitably be comments about these being man-made, and the alchemic process is performed in a lab, as is said, but the elements are all naturally occurring elements that are bonded onto quartz, and this is the result of that process. And for me personally, I think Aqua Aura Quartz is very, very stimulating. It's definitely one of those crystals that has poked my consciousness, if you like, at certain points. And I've been highly resistant to thoroughly working with it until this point in my path working. And I can't tell you why I was resistant at other points, because I literally don't remember, and perhaps it just was given the nature of the crystal that I wasn't ready to work with it, or it was poking some shadow elements that I hadn't quite finished working through, or wasn't ready to really take a deeper look at those elements within myself, and so I sort of was hesitant about working with the crystal itself. And I think the first thing that's really worth mentioning to me is that I do consider this to be perhaps the alchemy crystal, given that it is created by a process of alchemy, and it also resonates around that kind of energy. I really like the idea presented in the Book of Stones, that it's the fusion of science and nature. And I really like that idea that sometimes we need to stop seeing science and magic and spirituality as separate. Because there are plenty of people who will make the argument that the two cannot exist in one. And I'm very fond of the quote that magic is science that we don't understand yet. And I'm perfectly happy to not need to completely explain magic as well. I don't think that trying to rob witchcraft or magic or any of these things of its mystery and its deep chasm of it is mystery and unknowability, and perhaps there are elements of it that we will never fully understand, and I'm perfectly happy with that, because I think that is a process of alchemy within itself, of somewhere between explanation and mystery, of between the known and the unknown and the unknowable. I think that that concept is really quite important to spiritual and magical practitioners of all kinds. I think the excitement and an element of mystery and danger come from these things. And I think trying to sanitize witchcraft, paganism, is a bad idea. I think that it dulls the colour, it washes it out. And Aqua Aura is here, a crystal of alchemy, of balance, and it shines so brightly and it's so beautiful and it's so pleasing to the eye that it shows what can be achieved by a harmonious walk between these worlds, between that which is rational and irrational, between that which is logical and between that which is emotional. And I think it really does have this duality to it, this process of alchemy, fusion and understanding. I think it represents the two sides of the human coin, the human brain even, between the rational logical and the creative emotional. I think it represents the coming together and the harmony that can be found on a spiritual path between those two sides of oneself. In crystalline form, obviously, it's just one physical crystal, mineral element, if you like, one physical thing that one can hold that is representative, to me at least, of the bonding between those two sides of oneself, the two sides of humanity even, between logics of understanding the world around us and the combination of science and alchemy. I really, really love that idea that spirituality and witchcraft is alchemy, and magic is alchemy, and it is a kind of science, and there are parts of it that we can explain and rationalize, but then there are other parts which we can never fully know. And I really like that, because that to me is like talking about the human soul. That's part of my soul is being a witch, and part of my soul I can explain, you know, part of our souls and responses and emotions and feelings and behaviours, we can start to determine, we can start to explain them using scientific method. We can use the psychology elements to explain certain behaviours. We can utilise the memories of what we have had life experience to explain on a fairly scientific method, and then we can use the scientific method in terms of chemical reactions within the brain and the body that can explain certain elements of the human behaviour pattern, and so on and so forth. Things like flight and fight response, response to stimuli, and so on and so forth. But then on the other side of the human psyche, the human soul, are things that go without explanation, to the point where some people refuse to acknowledge them at all because they cannot be explained scientifically, and people will try and discredit because they're afraid of the idea of some part of the human soul, the human consciousness, being inexplicable. But the breath, the spark of life, to me is completely inexplicable. That moment of coming together and that spark of life within each of us that makes us who we are and makes us an individual and makes us not all the same is inexplicable and creation and glorious. It's a glorious spiritual alchemy between the human fleshy parts and the human soul, and I love that Aqua Aura in my mind has come to represent that. It's a soul stone. Absolutely. And it really does, to me, bring up all these philosophical questions, which is possibly why I've only worked with it here, there and everywhere and not all the time, because having to dig deep for these questions that pertain to life, choices, the universe and the soul are not easy questions, and nor should they be. Spirituality is not just the easy bits, the easy parts, but it's the ugly parts of oneself as well, if you like, and evaluating and pruning oneself and learning to be better. The other side of this, of course, is that the Aqua Aura for me very much represents the higher ideals of truth. It is said to represent the crown chakra, the third eye chakra and the throat chakra. And all three in alignment are pretty potent energy centers for magic, particularly for me. These three in alignment are very sacred to me specifically. Some people will feel that certain other chakras work better with their magic, but for me, these three are perhaps the most sacred. And some people won't like that, they feel that all chakras need to be in alignment and the auric field needs to be in alignment, and that's better for healing and balancing. But which is fine, I understand that in terms of a healing argument, but I'm here talking about the ideas of magic, the ideas of speech, the ideas of letting our words fly, and the power that the spoken word has. And I think, coming from a Celtic perspective where the oracular is given as being sacred, where the written word was said to take away from the power of magic, I think that the throat chakra therefore becomes a very, very potent source of magic, and the blue of Aqua Aura clearly resounds around that. And I love the idea of Aqua Aura being a stone of truth, spiritual truth, as we've already discussed in the analysis of oneself, in the analysis of one's soul, in the analysis of the balance between realms of oneself. But here is in terms of speaking and communicating one's highest truth, receiving messages from the universe, the divine, however you wish to see those messages, and then vocalizing one's personal truths in order to change one's life and the realm around oneself. So the idea that Aqua Aura Quartz basically bonds us to our truth means there is no escaping the truth of one's destiny, of one's path, of who one is and who one is meant to be. This is another reason why I think I've probably had some difficulty with it, because it means taking a good, hard look at oneself on a spiritual level. It means recognizing where you have gone astray. It means taking a good hard look in the mirror, basically. It's about truth, and sometimes truth can be very, very difficult, because not only does Aqua Aura connect the soul energy to the physical self, and encourage truth and encourage you to see the truth, but it then encourages you to channel and express that truth, that spiritual alignment, and that communication has to be in alignment with what your life is. And if your life is even slightly out of conjunction to where your spiritual truth is, it creates a awareness of that disharmony. And I think that can be unsettling for a lot of us, thinking that, you know, oh, we're doing the best we can, and then certain crystals and certain spiritual messages are like, nah, you're kidding yourself. You could be doing 110% better than this. You could be aligning yourself in this way. You're not confronting your shadow in this way. You're not healing yourself in that way. And you know it, so stop telling yourself things to placate yourself. Stop telling the world things to placate the world, and get on with the work that needs to be done. And I think there is a resounding energy of this in the community, in the YouTube community, in the world right now. There is this disharmony between people who are saying something to placate and make out that things are a certain way, and then the people who are like, this isn't the truth, this is the truth, this is what we need to be doing, this is how we need to be evolving. And we need to be looking at situations where the truths are difficult and they're muddy and bloody and not great, and people are putting themselves out there, making waves and putting themselves on the line to say, you know what, this isn't great, we need to change this, we need to embrace this, we need to stick up for those who are being attacked by this ugliness that's going on in the world. And I think Aqua Aura Quartz really resounds around those truths and can help us in the process of looking at those bigger issues out in the world, as well as those issues within ourselves. Finally, Aqua Aura Quartz for me has a connective element to it. So when there is an alchemy within the bonding of these crystals have been bonded together naturally at high temperatures, and I think that these crystals really do assist and create in the tying together of energetic bonds with other people that are meant to be in your life for the highest spiritual truth. Forming connections, hearing messages, and being truthful with yourself about them. So that's going to be it for this particular video. I'm sorry about the interruptions and my brain. my brain being very, very achy right now. But I got it done. We talked about Aqua Aura Quartz, and I'm pleased because it's such a beautiful crystal. Highly recommend it. So that's it for this particular video. Many blessings.